As I was driving to the church offices this morning, I began to think about how, with the COVID-19 pandemic weighing on us now for nearly 9 months, there are at least two basic responses that are presently dominating our community and our culture. And they're rather, well, quite polar opposite. And if we're not careful and prayerful, these polarities are going to divide us as well, as families, as neighbors, and yes, even as congregations. The first basic response I characterize as one that comes from just plain weariness, as expressed by people not wearing masks, not social distancing. Expressed in words like, "I'm just so sick and tired of hearing about it on the news every day. Nuts, let's just get on with life. Whatever." But there's a second response that's quite different from the first. It's one of a deep-seated fear, and out of this fear come various expressions of frustration and anger, expressed in words like, "The news is telling me one thing one day and something contradictory the next. When is science going to get this fixed? And even my physician friends and expert researchers can't agree. I just don't know what to believe or who to trust." Bingo. It's that last sentence. I just don't know what to believe or who to trust. That brings our gospel text for this weekend from Matthew 21, verses 23 through 32, in touch with the spirit of our times. So let me ask you, what or who can we finally trust? Or where do we place our faith? This is the fundamental question of our human existence. It's this very question that gives all of life its religious dimension. For especially these days that are shot through with so much anxiety and fear, or just sheer frustration, loneliness, we're tempted to place our trust in the ways, most often, of our human construction. In a word, it's about control. All those false gods of materialism, nationalism, arms buildup, savings plans, what I like to call the Humpty Dumptys of every generation that finally have a great fall. And so at the heart of our gospel text for this coming weekend is this question of trust that's posed to Jesus by the religious leaders of his time, while standing in the very center of the temple in Jerusalem. And they asked Jesus, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" Did you hear that word used twice in just one sentence? Authority. Come join us for worship this weekend as we hear God's word for us, pointing us where to fix our gaze in these days of so much fear, uncertainty, loneliness, frustration, where there's an authority we can finally trust and place our faith. Our worship services this weekend are in the main sanctuary at 5 p.m. on Saturday, at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, as well as the beautiful setting this Sunday at Falls Park at 11 a.m., led by our First Lutheran Church Praise Band. You can also listen in to our broadcast on Kello FM at 8 and our telecast at KSFY at 11 on Sunday. God's grace to you this day and always.